Warning, there will be spoilers throughout this podcast. If you have not yet read or finished reading this book, we suggest that you stop here and come back after you have read the book. If you just don't give a shit, then keep on listening. Hi, hello, we are back. I'm Nicole.
I'm Leah.
I'm Crystal.
I'm Mara.
And this is Literally Obsessed.
Doo-doo-doo.
Boop-boop.
Music bed.
So today's episode is going to be a little bit different than all of our previous episodes. This is going to be the first version of our book report.
I didn't think we were going to do a jingle.
Well, we can redo it.
I can get quiet this time.
Book report.
I'm definitely 100% using that and putting music over it. 100%. So basically whenever... rewind.
That's the jingle. Remix it.
So basically... what?
DJ Khaled. One time we went into a Petco, me and Corey, we were looking at the hamsters, and there's one that said DJ Hamster. And I think it stands for like a certain breed or species of hamster. And we could not stop going DJ.
So the way the book report is going to work for us is basically one of us have read the book, and we're pretty much just going to discuss it and talk our thoughts and bounce ideas off of the others of us who have not read said book. So I'm going to go first with this one.
What book are you reading today? Or were you reviewing today?
The book I'm reviewing is The Grimrose Girls by Laura Pohl, I'm assuming is how you pronounce her last name. Pohl. My rating for this book is a 2.
Oh, so it's not a 1.
It's not a 1, it's a 2. Because I will say, certain parts of it, yes, 100% kept my interest. This book, I feel like, was so poorly written, though.
Yeah. What's it about?
So it is about, there are 4 best friends. They go to a prestigious boarding school in Switzerland mountains. And one of the girls dies. And the school rules it as a suicide, but the friends do not believe that it is a suicide at all. New girl starts at the school, takes their dead friend's place, basically, and come to find out her death was not a suicide, and it was suspicious, and there is this magical book with fairy tales in it that is predicting the way that girls are dying at this school. And when I read the back of this book and saw that, I was like super enthralled in it because I really thought that it was going to be something super, super interesting because the premise of it sounds super interesting. Like it sounds like it would be a really, really good book. One of the main issues I had with this book, and I did Google this and try and figure out, I cannot find anything on it. I feel like the book was written in a different language at first and then translated into English.
I think you might be onto something because I remember Googling this book when you told me about it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it was originally in Spanish or something.
I think so.
Or Brazilian. Or,
She's a
Portuguese.
Brazilian author.
Yeah.
And she lives in Sao Paulo?
Sao Paulo.
That's what I believe. Yeah.
Brazil.
Brazil. So I believe the book was probably written in Spanish and then translated into English. Or Portuguese, yes. Which there's nothing wrong with that. But if you're going to do that, you need an editor who can make sure that things are written properly.
Right.
Because I know for a fact in Spanish, like for Italian, certain words are omitted when you're speaking in that language because you don't need them. But in English, you need those words for the sentence to make sense.
Right.
And there were certain parts in this book that I would get so into it and like actually be wanting to read it. And then all of a sudden I get to a part where the grammar and the words and everything was just so terrible that I had to read it a good like 4 to 5 times to understand what was actually trying to be said. So it fully took me out of the book with it. That was my biggest like pet peeve. So I have a feeling it was either written in Spanish or Portuguese first and then translated into English, which like I said, nothing wrong with it, just you need good editing when you do that, because it really did take me fully out of the book with certain parts. There was also a lot of things, when I tell you it was like the last 100, not even 100 last 100 pages of this book is where it actually started like answering questions that were going on in this like almost 400 page book. There was one thing where one of the characters, her name is Yuki, she keeps talking about how it's her fault that their friend Ari is dead. That she believes she is the one who made Ari commit suicide. It was all her fault, all her fault, all her fault. And it keeps talking about it through the entire book until you get to like page like 320 something or whatever it is. And then it finally tells you what she literally told her friend to go kill herself.
Shit.
Like, I was thinking it was like this big old thing that, no, you just like, you had a little argument and you were like, oh, if that's what you want, then go kill yourself. But like, why talk about it so much and then wait so long?
If it wasn't gonna be anything of it.
Right.
Exactly.
Make it seem like it's bigger than like what it.
Exactly. Make it seem like it actually was like substantial
Right.
in it. The other thing too, and I know that there technically is a second book. I thought this was a one-off. It's not. It's a duology, unfortunately, which makes me even it makes me even more mad because I don't feel like there doesn't need to be 2 books. There was so much filler in this that was completely unneeded. One of the other things that bothered me a lot is, so there's 4 girls in this story. The chapters rotate between the girls. So there's Ella, Yuki, Nani, and Rory. So it'll just be like, chapter 1 is Ella, chapter 2 is Yuki, chapter 3 is Rory, chapter 4 is Nani, and then it starts over again. So I felt like I was never fully in the story because it kept switching point of views. No, couldn't understand anything that was going on in it at all. Another thing that never got answered. So Nani's father worked for the school like as like a groundskeeper or a custodian, something like that. And he got her the spot. Like, he worked there long enough to be able to have his daughter go to this school. And then he just disappeared. Like, she never met him. She never saw him. Like, he just poofed away one day before she even got to the school. And then nothing else was brought up about her father. Like, she questions it to herself in her mind during the whole book about where her father is. And it's so weird that he got me here and now he's not here. And I wonder what's going on. But no answer to it whatsoever. Nothing at all. And it's like, how? It's weird.
Yeah.
It's so weird. I also was trying to figure out, like, who the girls were supposed to be. Because the girls, pretty much everybody in this story is supposed to be based off of a fairy tale character. Some of them were kind of easy to understand. So, like, your first character, we have Eleanor, who is Ella. Light blonde hair, light brown eyes, freckles. Her mother is dead. Her father remarries. She has 2 stepsisters. Her father then dies. She lives in the attic and cooks and cleans and all this stuff for her stepmother. Very clearly Cinderella. Yuki, both her mother and father are dead. She also has a stepmother who is the headmistress of the school. Ivory white skin, black hair, red lips, but she's Asian. So I figured she was Mulan, but she's supposed to be Snow White.
Yeah. No, I could see that.
So, I mean, I could see it, but it's also like...
Interpretation of
True, very true. Rory, who I...
That would more so be Snow White, wouldn't it?
It would be Snow White, but I was also...
Because Snow White's parents are dead.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And I figured that Headmistress was probably most likely like the evil queen.
Right.
In a sense, even though she wasn't evil, like she wasn't even really in the story at all. But I guess I was just taking things so literally with the way she was describing people.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, the way she was described was very, like, Asian.
Right.
So I would have thought Mulan. That story. Rory is the next one, which her real name is Aurora, I believe it is. It's not Aurora, but it's like Aurora. But she calls herself Rory. Blue eyes, copper hair. She's very sportsy. She loves fencing, but she's also super fragile. Her parents keep her like hidden at this school because they are like royalty somewhere or whatever. So I'm trying to think, okay, who is this? And I don't know if there's a fairy tale that surrounds Merida, but to me, that's what she's described as.
Aurora.
She's supposed to be Aurora. She's supposed to be Sleeping Beauty.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize that after until you find out what her real name is. You know what I mean? But the way she's described, very sportsy, into all that stuff, super curly copper hair, blue eyes, that describes Merida, not Aurora. Like, if you're trying to make these characters, they're supposed to look like and act like and be described like these fairy tale characters. Because, like, there's one who she's a side character. Her name's Penelope. Cream skin, green eyes, long blonde hair. Rapunzel. Like, to the point, Rapunzel. You know what I mean? So it's like you have these side characters who are 100% exactly who they're supposed to be, but then your main characters, it's confusing who the fuck they are. So like Nani, who is the fourth character who comes in after the fact, they describe her as like a bigger plus-sized girl, dark brown skin, round nose, tight, curly, dark hair, glasses. Her mother is also dead. Her father is the one who's like on the run somewhere. She lives with her grandmother. And she's Hawaiian. She's from Hawaii.
Nani.
So I'm trying to think of like Moana, Lilo and Stitch.
Yeah, I'm thinking like Lilo and Stitch is like Lilo's older sister, Nani.
She's Belle.
Who?
She's Beauty and the Beast. Like, that's her fairy tale. Like, it talks about her reading books, like, in the slightest little aspect. So it's like some of the characters, point on, understood who they were supposed to be. Other characters, I was just like, what the fuck? Like, there was one girl, her name is, I don't even know how to pronounce it, Micaeli.
I'd have to see it.
No idea. Short brown hair, pale skin. The way she ends up dying in the book, and the way she dies, to me, I'm pretty sure she was supposed to be Goldilocks. Because she dies with, like, a bowl of porridge, and she basically gets bashed in the head and falls down a flight of stairs type of thing. Some of the deaths were really brutal. One of the girls, they're, like, hanging up a Christmas tree for the Christmas time, and there's, like, these like wires holding the tree in place, and she's up on a balcony and she goes to like reach for something, which this makes no sense to me. She just like randomly reaches over this balcony to like grab something out of the tree and it won't budge. So she loses her balance, falls over the balcony, and like literally gets decapitated from the wire that's holding up the tree.
Final Destiny.
Yes. And come to find out, like, her death was the only one that was like an actual accident. But there was, like, so Ari is the first one to die. She's clearly the Little Mermaid. She bright red hair, loves to collect trinkets. Like, hers makes sense again. She dies in water. Little Mermaid. The Macelia, whatever her name is, I'm assuming Goldilocks, dies of the porridge. There's a brother and a sister. Her name is Molly. They don't even say what the brother's name is. They're Hansel and Gretel. They literally die with sweets stuffed in their mouth. Like, it's weird. It's very, very weird. But like I said, I went through this whole book. It was very slow, very, very, very slow in the beginning. Where did I see it? And there were just really weird things to the whole thing. I felt like she threw in LGBTQ characters just for like willy-nillys to just be like, we're inclusive, yay! Like, there was a random trans person in the story. Pretty much fucking everybody was bisexual, which I was just like, that's not how that works. No, ma'am. It felt very, very forced with that aspect of it. Having, you're one queer person in a story, having maybe that one trans character, all right, cool, whatever. Just the fact that it was like everybody, like it felt like you tried so hard to be inclusive when it didn't need to go that way at all. It's nice to have it, but it wasn't needed in this type of story, type of thing. There also was one section too that I was very confused on. She just starts like bashing French people in the book out of nowhere.
Told me about that.
Like it seems so random and so rude. Like, let me see. Page 138. Let me see if I can find
Do
it.
you guys know that TikTok trend that's like French people aren't even real?
Yes.
Like that's what it sounded like to me when you were telling me about it.
So she's talking about this kid that she met in the school, which Ella's talking about him, and she likes him. The rest of the girls are like, he's a snooty, actual rich person, like, blah, ew. So it literally says, Rory frowned again, her face full of confusion. I don't know anyone. Oh, wait, Ella, no. No, you can't. Why? Ella asked, genuinely surprised, forgetting Yuki's jab of a moment before. He's French, Rory protested. You're half French, Ella pointed out. So I should know, Rory exclaimed. It's okay to be French in, like, fiction, but not in real life. I know you're a sucker for redemption arcs, Ella, but this is going too far. I'm not, Ella said. It's a fatal flaw, Rory continued. Sometimes people are evil or French and can't be redeemed.
Fuck.
They just have to be put down like a mad dog. Does he shower? Please tell me he showers.
Oh my god!
What?
How did this make it past anybody?
I don't know.
Okay, is it... What publishing house?
Yeah.
I'm gonna send
Because
this
this sounded...
Like, it's
Source
genocide.
Fire reads source book Fire. I don't know.
It's one thing to joke on TikTok that like, oh, French people exist. Oh, French people need to be cured.
Say that they need to be sit down.
That's crazy.
Right?
Yeah.
I literally sat there for a while afterwards and I was like, what the fuck did I just read?
Like, are they evil or are they French?
Like, they can't be both.
That's crazy.
I'm like, yeah. I was literally just like, what the fuck did I just read?
I would put it down after that. I really don't.
You're so brave for
I told you,
doing
I rage read this book because I bought it, I spent money on it, and I was
How
like,
How much was it?
$11.
Ooh. Nope.
$11.
Knowing we just spent like $32 on Irish Flame. Like,
Listen.
Insane. I also
Aaron, blame one more time.
I also felt like this was it was like she took a lot of aspects of different things and tried to make her own like spin on them.
Right.
It felt very Pretty Little Liars to me also.
Yeah.
Like Ari was Allie, like this mean girl, center of the group, the one who like held them all together and now she's dead type of thing. And Yuki was Spencer, the very like reasonable, like it's logic, there's no such thing as magic, it can't be true, person. Ella was Aria, like the very like she made her own clothes and very like free spirited and always happy go lucky type of person. Nani was Hannah, just the way that it just kind of there wasn't really any aspect, but it just kind of fit. And then Rory was Emily, that very sportsy, type of person. So whatever, they find this book. This book is what they believe to be magic. It is all fairy tales, but it is like the original fairy tales. Mm-hmm. So it tells to how the stories actually end, the very tragic endings of
like
a lot of
the
these.
Grimm stories,
Yes.
like the Grimm brothers,
Yes.
right? Yeah.
Very much so. The very deadly endings to a lot of these stories. And they come to find out that that's what is actually happening in the school, and it's been happening for years prior. And they need to figure out what they need to do to break this curse. So they hold a seance.
What the?
Okay, again, fucking random as shit. Ella goes and sees this psychic in town, and the psychic gives her candles and crystals and tells her that she needs 3 friends to do this ritual, and if they could talk to Ari through it and figure out what's going on. So they go out one night to this like abandoned building, and they hold this seance, and this weird shit starts happening, and Yuki goes and she grabs the book and she tries to like light it on fire and it won't burn, and she tries to destroy it and it won't be destroyed. She tries to rip pages out of it and the pages won't rip, and it's raining outside but the book isn't getting wet at all, and all of a sudden she feels like this burning through her entire body and then passes out, and she wakes up and now has fucking magical powers.
What?
I don't think that's how it works.
Thank you.
So is this a paranormal
I
story?
don't
Is it fantasy?
know. I mean, I would assume fantasy.
A Moida mystery?
It's Moida. It was just really fucking odd. Like, really odd.
Like they were trying to fit too many different elements
Yes.
into one book.
Yes, 100%. She was trying to put too much into it, and it made it where it was not an enjoyable read.
Right.
Because you just didn't know what was going on.
The fact that you even give it a 2 is a lot.
I know. Because like I said, it held my interest at points. At points I was like, ooh, what's gonna happen? But at other points I was like, is this fucking for real?
Yeah.
Like, are we for, like, another point I'm just seeing that I wrote down in one of my notes. Through the entire book, all Nani wanted to do was leave. All she wanted to do was go home. She didn't want to be in the school anymore. She hated that it was cold in Switzerland. She wanted to go home to Hawaii where it was warm and be with her grandmother and what she knew. And she finally gets the opportunity. Her grandmother calls her because there's been all these deaths at the school. And her grandmother's like, listen, I saved up enough money. I have money to buy you a flight back home. I've talked to your old school. You can come back to your old school. They'll let you come back. Da-da-da-da-da. And basically this girl goes, no.
She had to save money to find her a flight back.
Yeah.
But could afford to put
No.
her this.
So her father, like I said before, her father worked at the school, and because he was an employee,
Okay.
he was able to get her in.
Right.
Okay.
So that's how she got into the school.
Okay.
So she's basically riding on her father's paycheck in a sense to be there. But basically she tells her grandmother, no. I've made a connection with these girls and I owe them things and I can't leave now. And I'm thinking to myself, there has been no character building between these 4 girls at all.
You guys don't even know each other.
Like, literally don't. You've had a seance. Congratulations.
Closer. We had a
Mara, we should do a seance, bitch. Not in this house.
Yeah, Nicole, it'll be blessing the house.
No,
I'm gonna take my smudge stick out of the cabinet and start smudging you.
Smudge stick?
Yes.
What is that?
Sage.
You call it smudge stick?
It's called a smudge stick.
Really? I thought it was just sage. You can call it whatever
Oh,
you
yeah.
want. Why? Because she's gonna rub it on me?
No, I'm gonna light it on fire and make this, like, waft the smoke to you.
What does it smell like?
Sage.
Sage. I thought that was your dad.
That was so good.
I was like, wow, I was thinking your dad sound just
Oh, God. But yeah, like, they just, like, all, you say no? Like, what?
Yeah.
Alright, cool, whatever.
I thought you were about to stab me.
2 more things that were never talked about. Rory is, like, always in pain. It talks about this, like, condition that she has that makes her fragile. She's always in pain, but it never says what the fuck it is. Ever. Also, she's, like, royalty somehow. She lives in a castle, like, when she's back home. She goes to meet with her parents for something, and her parents basically don't come, so they send their secretary to meet with her. And her secretary calls her father Majesty. Who the hell is she? Who are her parents? Like, what? Nothing is ever talked about it.
Yeah.
Never said. Never, no idea of who the fuck she is. So it's like, okay. Come to find out at the end, Penelope, who is Tangled, or Rapunzel. Tangled. Rapunzel, is a fake. She killed the real Penelope. The real Penelope's body, which this makes no sense. I don't understand how. Oh, okay. I guess I kind of get it now. Now that I'm thinking about it and talking out loud.
Explain it to us.
Okay, so I didn't get it at first because Ella's reading a newspaper article and she sees that a body was found in like the backyard or side yard of somebody's house, partially buried, but I guess had been there for months, but was not decomposed, and it was Penelope. The actual Penelope. Mm-hmm. So that's how they come to realize that Penelope that they've been talking to is fake. She's actually the killer and the one who wanted this book that they have that has all these stories and these magical properties to it. But now I'm realizing, if you go along with the story of Rapunzel, that this fake Penelope must have been like a Mother Gothel situation. So she stole Penelope's youngness, which is probably why the actual Penelope didn't decompose. I'm assuming her youth. Yeah, I'm assuming probably because it makes no sense to me. Otherwise, why?
Where did they get this book? Where did they find it at?
So Ari had it, and when Nani moves into Ari's space, because Ari, Yuki, and Rory share a room at the school.
Where did Ari get it?
They don't know. They think that she just found it in the library one day because she never told the friends about it.
Right.
Nani moves in and notices that there's a false bottom to one of the drawers in the desk that Ari had, and this book was in it. And it was the first time the friends had ever seen it. And then they come to find out, they go through all this whole thing and all of that. But yeah, that's how they come to find it. Come to find out there's a second version of the book. So the version that they have is a black bound book, and it just has the stories in it. And like Ari has written in it about like her thoughts on things and who she thinks each story is about and stuff like that. And then the fake Penelope has a white version of the book. And those stories actually have each of their pictures next to the story that they correlate to. And like Ari's picture is like slowly fading out of the book. I'm assuming because she's dead. And basically the fake Penelope goes on this whole rant about how she needed the second book, otherwise they would do something to her, but never says who the fuck they were. She ends up taking Ella hostage in the center of the lake where Ari was found dead, that is now like frozen over because it's winter time. Yuki comes out, tries to save the day. Basically, Ella falls through the ice. Yuki snatches the knife out of fake Penelope's hand and stabs Penelope through the chest with it and murders her. They then hide said body. Yeah, so Yuki ends up killing the fake Penelope. They end up wrapping her, like taking Yuki's dress and like ripping it apart, wrapping the fake Penelope with rocks and Yuki's dress and dropping her in the lake. And then Yuki takes her magical powers and freezes the lake back over so that nobody knows that it had been broken through. Okay?
So nobody knew that this fake Penelope was, except for these 5 girls?
Yeah. So they were saying...
a murderer?
Yeah. So they were saying, like, they would have... Basically, like... People are going to find out because now the real Penelope's body has been found.
Yeah.
So they're going to do DNA testing on it and figure out who she is and, figure out that this Penelope who's been in the school the entire time... This is their logic. The Penelope who's been in the school the entire time is not the real Penelope, and that once the authorities figure all of this out, the fake Penelope will be on the run. So that's their logic behind hiding her body in the lake, that by the time they figure everything out, this Penelope would have had enough time to flee, and she's on the run now. type of thing.
Just be like, we killed her because she tried to kill us. Like,
Right? Exactly.
self-defense. Like,
Self-defense. Exactly. But that's how it ends. They never solve the curse. They never break the curse. They never, like, there's no mention of...
Wait. So what's the curse?
The curse is each of them are connected to a fairy tale.
Yeah.
And they are doomed to die according to how the character in the fairy tale dies.
Okay, so it was the curse that's been killing them. It's not Penelope.
Well, the curse would have eventually taken them out, quote unquote, supposedly. The fake Penelope was killing them beforehand to speed up the inevitable. Because supposedly she would have gotten what she wanted, which was like eternal life or some shit like that.
Said eternal. And I was
Yep,
like,
eternal.
Yikes.
Yeah, that's what she would want, a turtle.
Okay, so the way that everybody died in this book was at the hands of Penelope?
Everybody but the girl who reached for the Christmas tree.
Okay.
Oh.
Yep. So she killed Ari. She killed Ari because she basically
Who was the girl that reached for the Christmas tree?
What was her name?
Was she a specific character? Or was there something
I don't even think so.
correlated that she was supposed to die in the fairy tale?
Her name was Anne Marie. No idea who she was supposed to be. There was no really description about her.
Yeah.
But there's they talked about what the story was that they think she was related to. So she might have been a part of the story.
Right. And that
But
was
her thing actually came out, like the book actually took her out
yeah.
instead of the fake Penelope.
Right.
Because supposedly that's the curse, is that this book, inevitably you're going to succumb to your fairy tale in the book no matter what.
Yeah.
The juniper tree is the name of the fairy tale, which I don't know that one. I don't know what that fairy tale talks about, but they said that that's what she, basically what it says is, "Are you sure it wasn't an accident?" Nani asked, saying out loud what they were all thinking. "It looked like one," Rory said, uncertain, her voice a whispered rush. "But that's in the book too, isn't it?" "The juniper tree," said Nani beside them, her voice dark. "It could have been worse." "How could this be worse?" Rory muttered.
So then,
"You didn't read the tale?" Nani asked, but Rory just shrugged and Nani let out an exasperated sigh. "Stepmother decapitates her stepson and then cooks him in a soup, feeding it to her husband. Trust me, we were lucky." So, like, yeah.
I guess it's just a lot of questions.
A lot.
You know,
A lot of
like,
questions.
Like, what? So, like, what led them to know that Ari's death was foul play and not just the curse from the book?
It was like a suspicion they had.
Yeah.
Basically, they felt like, because so in the true story of The Little Mermaid, basically the Ariel makes a deal with Ursula.
Right.
Because she wants this prince. Whatever happens. She doesn't get what she wants, and the Little Mermaid commits suicide. She literally jumps into the sea and becomes sea foam. So they figured Ari would have never, like, jumped into the water and killed herself. That's what their suspicion is the whole time. Because if her story went by the book, she would have committed suicide, because that's what that story says, and they didn't believe that. So that's when they find out at the end that the fake Penelope killed Ari, because Ari was supposed to bring the fake Penelope the second copy of the book, and she didn't. She hid it away and went to go meet with the fake Penelope because she knew she was the fake Penelope. So fake Penelope killed her, and then fake Penelope was just like rapidly progressing, killing these people
Right.
for the purpose of the story so that she could get whatever she wanted in the end, which it was never really stated what her end game was, what she actually wanted. So like I said, I don't know if it's going to be talked about in book 2. It might be. Am I going to read book 2?
It's super
Probably not.
You should take one for the team and read book 2.
You already took one for the team and read the first one.
I mean, very, very true.
Super confusing.
It was.
Like that's just confusing.
Mm-hmm. It was not a good read. Like I said, I rage read the end of this just to get through it because I just wanted to get through it.
That makes me so mad that you spent money on that.
You and me both.
Because I can't, oh my gosh, it makes me so mad when you buy something with your own money and the book sucks.
So bad.
Can't do it.
So, like, I'm so disappointed because it sounded like it was good. Like, it could have been such a great book.
Right.
Like, if it was just written better, it could have been such a great book. I also hate when books have different, like, Icebreaker wasn't that bad because it was only 2 people that you were jumping between point of views and chapters. 4 people that I'm jumping between point of views with chapters. It was fucking annoying.
Wait till this bitch finds out about Six of Crows.
Oh shit.
Yeah. No, but it's good. It's good. I feel like you get it.
Well, I've heard everybody say Six of Crows is amazing. Honestly, a lot of reviews that I read after I finished this book and while I was trying to figure out whether or not it was written in a different language first, a lot of people had the same things. I mean, collective star rating on this is the cover's beautiful. It's a beautiful, and that was one of the, and I hate to be one of those types of people, but I am definitely a judge a book by its cover type of girl.
Yeah. I think we all are.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna see a cover and be like, ooh, and then I'm gonna read the back.
Yeah.
You know, and if the back sounds good, absolutely gonna pick it up.
Or
If
like-
the back sounds shitty,
I'm like that. I won't buy a book if it's like real people on the cover.
yes,
Oh,
yes, same.
I can't do it. I can't.
Nope.
There's nothing about. You could tell me that this book is the best book you've ever read in your life, but it is if it's not an illustration or just like a picture. Like
I hate it. There's one that's out right now, Revenge of the Pirate Queen, and it's just a woman and she's just holding a knife. Just like, this is just somebody that they took a picture of.
Yeah.
I think the only books I have that have real people on the cover is To All the Boys I Loved Before. I think that's the only, but that's different.
Yeah, because they made like a whole like movie about it. You know what I mean? So like, I get that.
But I think that's the only one. But yeah, like I said, I rate this book a 2. To me, 100% not worth it. I do not recommend it. Don't read it. If you want to, go ahead. I won't stop you.
Will you be keeping this book on your bookshelf?
I never get rid of books, honestly. I really don't. It's just I just
I don't
always keep
either.
them.
I have 2
Burn
books
it.
that I would burn if I didn't
Burn
pay
it.
for them. But
Yeah.
I was gonna say, can we have a book burning? But no, let's
No! Oh my god, that's sacrilegious.
That sounds, what's it called? You know when people are trying to like ban books and they just burn books? That's terrible. Let's not ban.
Let's not. We're not doing that. I would love to do a banned book episode though. That would be really fun.
What's a banned book?
Are there
books that have been banned?
in the United States?
Yeah.
Mhm.
There's
So
a movie.
Mockingjay was banned.
There.
Alright, so yeah, that's my review on this book. We'll post it on Instagram as we normally do, so leave your thoughts, comments, concerns. If there's something that I did not mention that you were like, no, Nicole, you're wrong, and we'll take it into account. I'll look at it and see. Maybe I am wrong.
And then immediately dismiss it.
I'm just like, no, you're wrong. No, if somebody else felt differently about this book and you want to try and convince me that it is pretty good, go ahead. I will hear you out. But yeah, go ahead, like, follow, subscribe to us wherever you listen to podcasts, and we will be back in 2 weeks with another episode. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.